up, Taiwan? I'm Liao with news from here in Taiwan and around the world. Taiwan-Japan ties have hit a snag. Over the weekend, Taiwan's top envoy to Japan declined an invitation to the 81st anniversary memorial of the atomic bombing of Nagasaki. Here's more on what happened. A bell tolls in Nagasaki, Japan, marking 81 years since the U.S. dropped an atomic bomb on the city. Representatives from over 90 countries attended. Taiwan was among them, but Taipei's top envoy was absent. Taiwan's representative to Japan, Liao, posted on social media on Sunday that he declined to attend because of Taiwan's designation at the event. Li said that Taiwan was seated outside the area reserved for ambassadors and representatives. Li said this arrangement by the Nagasaki city government undermined Taiwan's sovereignty. In the end, the head of Taiwan's branch office in Fukuoka attended. Taipei says that Nagasaki is giving in to pressure from China to compromise Taiwan's statehood.
今年长期和平纪念仪式中，我方作为区域临接使节团区未受到区隔，并在会场与日本政要及各国使节自然互动，相关的安排较去年也有进步。但对于长期市政府受到中国的压力，使得今年和平纪念仪式对我方的安排尚有欠妥之处，外交部仍表遗憾。
Nagasaki's government says that it did not intend to lower Taiwan's status and that it placed Taiwan in the same section as last year in an area for international guests. Li did attend last year's event, but he said he looked past the designation because he wanted to make Taiwan's first appearance at the event and to show that it is a peace-loving country. Afterwards, he says his office protested the designation, but the issue was not rectified. One expert says that this incident will have little impact on Taiwan and Japan's positive overall ties.
日本的中央政府跟地方政府，你还是不能把它混为一谈啊。长期市政府有他自己的行政判断，我觉得这个是他们自己的问题。
Though this snag is a rare hiccup in Taipei's ties with Tokyo, it seems more than anything that it's not Taiwan-Japan ties that are being tested, but rather Taiwan's ties with Nagasaki. Luffy Li and Liao for TaiwanPlus. Taiwan is making a return to the Pacific Islands Forum starting at the end of the month after the forum decided to exclude partners from outside the region last year. For a deeper look at Taiwan's position in this forum and what this year might bring, John Van Triest spoke with Oliver Nobitao, director of the Pacific Islands program at the Lowy Institute.
First of all, it's a question that many people, even in Taiwan, might have. Is what role do these non-Pacific Island nations taking part in this forum have? Are they just observers?
Look, primarily the non-Pacific Island countries that come in, they are observers, but they are primarily development partners. Now, the scale at which they are sort of considered as development partners is varied. You have the really big development partners that reach across the whole region and provide sort of regional support. You think of, well, Australia is a Pacific Island country, right? But you think of the United States, you think of China as well. And then you have other smaller countries external to the Pacific Islands region, which also provide support, which is necessary, but maybe targeted towards particular countries.
Now, last year, as I understand it, none of these outside countries were invited. Could you explain once again why that was and why countries like Taiwan are coming back this year?
This was the decision of the host government at the time, Solomon Islands. At the time was under the leadership of Prime Minister Manasseh Sogavare. And the desire of Pacific Island countries were noting that in the past few years, 5 to 10 years, there's been an increase of external middle power and major power engagement into the Pacific. The problem, of course, is that Pacific Island countries are relatively smaller than these external partners, so they don't necessarily have the capability to engage concurrently with all these development partners while also trying to meet amongst Pacific leaders themselves. So the idea and the thinking at the time was that no other external partner would come in, and that would allow the sort of breathing room.
Are there likely to be some sort of tensions this year with Taiwan back and presumably China as well?
We see the tension not only amongst, looking externally towards, say, either Taiwan or China in their attendance, but I think there's going to be friction in reaching that consensus as well on sort of the regional stability, sort of regional position around the missile test and also the regional approach to security. We know also on the cards, not formally on the agenda, but what has been discussed has been the region-wide security treaty that's being championed by Prime Minister Matthew Wale of Solomon Islands. So that could be another area as well, which needs to be agreed to. And a lot of these things, it's not necessarily an always going to be external influence causing these frustrations and reaching a consensus. But I think it speaks to the model in which the Pacific Islands Forum operates. It's very much a consensus-based model. And when you're trying to get consensus among 17 different parties together, it's always going to be a challenge.
You've just mentioned this debate over whether or not to condemn a recent Chinese missile test among these Pacific Island nations. And notably, some of the ones that blocked a condemnation were former, until recently, allies of Taiwan. Do you read anything into that? And what does it say about the direction the region may be heading?
I wouldn't say that it's heading in a particular direction, but I think it reveals more the current state of play. Where there is external actors coming into the region, either whether this be sort of United States, China, Australia's bolstering sort of their position being part of the Pacific family as well. But I think it also speaks to the fact that while it would be nice to have a regional position on security and sort of that oceans of peace narrative that's being pushed forward, each country in the Pacific has an equal voice in this Pacific Islands Forum. And bilaterally as well, they have cultivated their own relationships.
That was Oliver Nobitao, director of the Pacific Islands Program at the Lowy Institute. Taiwan's cabinet is expected to propose a 16% increase in defense spending for 2027 to set a new record. That's according to sources quoted by the country's official central news agency. The increase would take the total budget up past $34 billion, breaking the 1 trillion new Taiwan dollar mark for the first time. The figure represents more than 3% of GDP, in line with NATO spending targets. An official announcement is expected to follow a cabinet meeting on August 20th. Taiwan's annual Kuang military exercise has moved into its 6th day with live fire and air defense drills. On the Penghu Islands in the Taiwan Strait, troops are simulating stopping a Chinese paratrooper assault. They're using tanks, artillery, and anti-aircraft guns in what the military calls a multi-layered defense. Taichung in central Taiwan is also set to hold an urban resilience air defense drill in the afternoon when traffic will be cleared from the streets. Taiwan's annual Kuang military exercise this year, for the first time, includes a communications slowdown drill. Former special forces are training civilians for disasters, including how to use a military communications app called Android Tactical Assault Kit, or ATTACK, under limited access to the internet.
ATTACK 它全名是战术指管系统。那我们白话一点把它讲它的应用的话，就是我们希望这个系统啊，它是可以就是说以家庭为单位，然后大家都在同一个伺服器里面。当这个发生紧急状况的时候，大家可以把那个 APP 打开，在有网络的状况之下呢，可以马上的就知道自己这个家人的位置在哪边。然后而且它上面可以传递一些拍到的照片啊，或是讯息传递。 那如果以战时的话，民众可以跟军方建立一个互信啊，或者资讯传递的话，那我觉得这对国防来讲也是一个帮助。
ATTACK tools are being used by Taiwan's government for disaster relief efforts. Many civil defense training groups, like Special Tactical Armory, are teaching people how to use it. A group behind me has spent the last 2 days learning how to use it to locate people and find objects in the field.
等下的资讯啊，我都发在大家的 ATTACK 了。那主要是里面的目标啊，我们要去 做他们的情报收集，然后利用这个 ATTACK 去传给整个 team， 让大家都知道这个目标的状况。现在时间差不多，我们就出发吧。
太好了，好像往里面开过去了。我看一下地图。
我传讯息给其他。
哦，好，我们再往里面一点。
我是家庭主妇。 然后我有3个小孩，因为我的家人就是我爸爸妈妈还有我妹妹，他们都分散在各地这样。因为我们每个人对于战备的设定不一样，所以就是到时候战争的时候来的时候，大家可能在各自不同的状态，但是我还是会想要有一个基本的了解这样子。
它里面可以让你及时的去标定你跟队友在共同看的一份电子地图。 你可以在那个电子地图上面标记一些地点的详细的介绍或备注，那这都是可以及时的去更新。只要你一更新完， 你的队友打开手机就也一样可以看得到你更新的内容。
飞机的声音吧，无人机，怎么办？
刚好结合今天的 ATAC， 他们刚好成为这个 ATAC 学员侦查的目标，所以这 ATAC 学员他可以利用，我知道我今天要到这个地方，要去看哪一些人，但是我今天必须要来这个地方，把这些人看得更仔细，有多少人，他持有什么武器，他穿着怎么样，他们在讨论一些什么。
后坐力的感受的话，我本业是牙医，会来参加这个主要是因为2023的时候那个乌俄战争嘛，就是看到有很多那个战争发生的，就看到很多残酷的事实。
For the first time, Taiwan is simulating mobile internet disruption during its civil defense and Hangguan military exercises. So, how can we use ATAC to communicate during war or natural disasters?
在网络断掉的状况之下 ，ATAC 我必须坦白说，它是没有办法有作用的。但是，网络断掉它是会修复的，像水，它像电。
不管说它是降速，还是说真的整个就网络断掉，然后或者被盖台等等的，那这个东西就变成平常，当然事前其实大家平常说网络很好，那其实你就可以自己去开始去建立一个地图。
Stay tuned for the full episode of Zoom In, Zoom Out on our website or the TaiwanPlus News YouTube channel. As extreme heat becomes more frequent and severe across the globe, the new drone technology is helping South Korean communities adapt and protect vulnerable farmers. Aichi reports.
Here in South Korea, Hong Han-je is broadcasting alerts through a loudspeaker, using heat-sensing drones to protect farmers from record-breaking hot weather.
안녕하십니까, 경북도청입니다. 날씨가 많이 뜨겁습니다.
Hello, this is Gyeongsangbuk-do Provincial Government. The weather is extremely hot. Please drink plenty of water while outdoors and take breaks in the cooling shelter. After getting some rest, resume your work slowly and carefully. Thank you.
The drones have been brought in by the local government in Yongsan province to protect farmers from heat, which has recently surpassed 41 degrees Celsius. Originally developed in 2023 to monitor wildlife, the drone surveillance system was expanded to include heatwave alerts. In areas like Andong, where farms are spread over vast distances, typical loudspeakers can't be heard by farmers working in the fields.
드론이 보통 한 자리에서
Our drones can fly freely within a radius of about 5 kilometers from a single location. Using thermal imaging cameras, we can monitor ground temperatures and greenhouse temperatures in real time. And if we identify areas that appear particularly hazardous, we send the drones there to broadcast heat warnings.
Local pepper farmers say the drones help remind them of heat-related health risks.
The drones help a lot. Older farmers are often so focused on their work that they keep working without realizing how hot it is, and that's when accidents happen. You can really feel the difference in temperature on your skin.
For farmer Huang, the extreme heat has cut working hours and reduced his pepper harvest by about 30%. Climate experts say rising Arctic temperatures are intensifying periods of hot weather, which South Korean President Lee Jae-myung has called a national disaster. And with temperatures expected to remain high, farmers are now facing not only the immediate loss of crops, but growing uncertainty over how they will adapt to a hotter climate. Heng Shi and IT for TaiwanPlus.
Thank you for watching What's Up Taiwan. You can visit the TaiwanPlus website or follow our social media for more stories from Taiwan and around the world. Finally, here's thousands of motorsport fans in the UK where they are marking 100 years since the first British Grand Prix at the historic Brooklands racetrack. I'm Leslie Liao. Take care and see you next time.
For more stories from Taiwan and around the world, download the TaiwanPlus app or follow us on social media. And by the way, this over here is drone soccer.